All right, so I've got this question multiple times, and let's look at it. What's the best tank size for a beginner? So you're looking to get your first aquarium, and you're wondering what size tank is the best one to get. There's many different sizes out there, many options available. Let's take a look at them and see which one is the best and why. So for your first aquarium, you often think that smaller is going to be better because there's less to take care of. But that's not the right answer. That's not the correct answer. Smaller tanks are harder to take care of in that they fluctuate a lot. Think of it this way. If you have a single drop of a contaminant in a cup of water, it's going to be at a higher concentration than if you drop a single drop of that same contaminant in a swimming pool. Same thing with fish aquariums. The smaller the tank is, the more the fish will notice a change in temperature, a change in pH, little ammonia or nitrate, something that's not supposed to be there. The fish will notice it a lot quicker, and that will mean that it's going to cause harm to the fish a lot quicker. So yes, small tanks are harder. So with that, we're only going to look at the standard rectangular size tanks that you could say get in a kit or something like that. We're not going to look at the columns or ovals or half moons or hexagons or any of these other odd shaped tanks that are out there. Just the standard rectangular tanks. Let's start looking at nothing smaller than a 5.5 gallon, and we'll start moving up from there to see which one's the best. So different things determine what's the best. You got cost, you've got space, you've got ease of maintenance. So on a 5.5 gallon tank, it's great for size because it's small. It can fit in small spaces. But you have the problem there that generally 5.5 gallon tanks are more expensive than your 10 gallon tanks. And because they're smaller, they're harder to maintain because of what we mentioned earlier. Then also, 5.5 gallon tanks are a little more difficult to come by, they're harder to find, and things that fit them, like things to go with them, such as filters and lights and all that kind of stuff, are more difficult to find and more expensive also. So let's mark the 5.5 gallon tank off our list. That moves right on up to a 10 gallon. 10 gallon is a great contender for this best tank for a beginner, and it may win. It may actually be the best tank for a beginner. It's a reasonable price. It's a smaller size tank as far as space is concerned. It is a little smaller on the size as far as monitoring contaminants and fluctuations, but it's manageable. You could get by with checking it once or twice a week and probably be okay as far as doing testing for ammonia and that type of thing. And it is the most popular tank in the hobby, the 10 gallon tank, because of its price point and the smaller size there. So let's leave that as a potential contender for the best tank for a beginner. Well, let's jump up to the other end, since we're right there where it might be. Let's go to the other end and say, at 125 gallon tanks, anything 125 gallon tanks and higher, while they would be really easy to maintain as far as contaminants and temperature variations and fluctuations and stuff like that, they take up a lot of floor space. A 125-gallon tank is 6 feet long. So not everyone has 6 feet by 18 inches worth of floor space to give up for an aquarium, especially for your first aquarium. So anything 125-gallon tanks and higher, let's just say not for the first one. I mean, if that's what you want to go with, that's awesome, but they are a little more expensive, and we're going to mark them off the list just for size. So coming down below that, we come into the 90s and 75s. They're a 4 feet length and an 18-inch depth front to back. So that's a good size there. I would also say that anything of the 4 feet length may be a little too large for a beginner tank. It may take too much space. So that drops us down below 55 gallons, because a 55-gallon tank is 4 feet long also. So now we're looking at the 3 foot and the 30-inch tanks. So at the 3 foot mark, you've got your 30 longs, you've got 40 breeders, and there's a few others in there, but those are the two most common. And I'm going to knock the 40 breeder off the list just because the 18-inch depth front to back is a little large for a beginner. That, for what I'm envisioning for a beginner, it would take more to find a spot to put it in a lot of houses. But it would be a good option for someone. But generally, 18-inch depth, your accessories like your lids and stuff is going to cost a little bit more, and it's going to be more difficult as far as finding the floor space to fit it. So that brings us down to the 30 long. 30 longs are not easy to find, so the ease of finding them and the accessories for them, let's just take that off the list too. So we get down below the 30 long, we're looking at a 29-gallon tank, a 20 long, and while we're there, might as well look at the 20 high. So my personal view, I would say a 29-gallon tank is awesome. It is a great tank because it's got the length, the 30-inch length, and it's got the height to make it closer to a square looking, to give that picturesque view. Depending on what fish you're looking at, that may be the best tank for you, but let's just leave it in the contenders for now. The next one, we'll jump to the other side of that there. You've got the 20-gallon tanks. You've got the 20 highs and the 20 longs. Now a 20 high is 2 feet long, a foot front to back, and is that like 18 inches or so tall? So I love 20 highs. They're great. Potentially the best tank for a beginner because it still gives you that square look almost. It's still rectangular, but it's almost a square look. Ease to maintain. As far as parameters, temperature, and all that, you get by with doing water changes once a week, checking your parameters at that time, and you can house many different types of fish in it. The 20 long is the same footprint as a 29-gallon, 30 inches. It's only a foot wide, front to back, and a foot tall. So that makes a great window side to side for swimming fish back and forth. Gets the movement. You have all the benefits of the 29 except for the height. You have the length back and forth for the movement. You have the benefits of the 20-gallon tank, that it has the water volume that's manageable, the lower cost. 20-gallon tanks are really easy to find too. So I think we end up having to knock the 10-gallon tank and the 29-gallon tank off. The ones on the outside edges, and it puts it between the 20 high and the 20 long. I really want to pick the 20 high. That's probably my favorite tank right now. But it really has to go to the 20 long. The 20 long being 30 inches long, it can fit on top of most, say, dressers, chest of drawers, pieces of furniture like that. The foot tall viewing window of the tank makes it a great piece for the fish to be swimming back and forth, and it's a manageable cost. The reason I like the range from 10 gallon to 29 gallon is a lot of those tanks you can use an existing piece of furniture, an existing table, like an end table in the living room, or a bedside table, a piece of bedroom furniture, a chest of drawers, a dresser, nightstand. You want to make sure that the furniture is solid when you use it for a stand, but a lot of those tanks can fit on those pieces of furniture. So it saves you money also, and it looks like it blends in as a piece of furniture in your house. But for overall, for cost, size, just aesthetics and getting the movement in the tank, the ease of maintenance and care, we have to go with the 20 longs. I have a few 20 longs in the fish room here. I've got some back here in the shell dwellers, the tiger limias, and so the multi-shell dwellers and the stemless shell dwellers down below them. So I have those in here, and who knows what we'll turn up with next. But the 20 long wins it for today. What do you think is the best tank for a beginner? What's your suggestions of what they should keep, what a beginner should keep, and what size tank? Let me know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.